Hello everyone, this is Prithviraj C, and today we are going to discuss how to apply or reissue for the Indian passport being in United States, and that's something everybody who is an international student should know at some point in time, because they are going to have this issue where their passport is expiring. The passport got damaged because they took it out and it got wet, or it tore somewhere, or you just lost the passport. Let's say it happened to one of my friends where their bag was stolen which had their passport, so they had to reissue the passport. Basically they issue a fresh passport per se, not reissue. So if you have any of that issue, don't worry, just type in Passport Renewal VFS Global and it'll take you to this website. And this website has all the information you need to follow, but I'm going to walk you through what actually you need to do along with these instructions. I struggle with instruction myself in a written manner, so I prefer a video, so I'm making this for people like me. So you have a step-by-step guide here, which says complete the government form and get the photograph and the picture and signature and blah 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 blah. And I would just stop, take a step back, and I would start from preparing the checklist of documents. The checklist of documents is going to be your guidance for completing the application for passport renewal. Now here you see you have three options, and these are the same options that you need to, whatever option you select here, you need to select the same option in the government form that you fill for passport renewal. So if you had already filled the form, then this should match. Okay, because what's going to happen is if you don't match it with this, VFS Global is going to send back the package. We don't want that. So let's say your passport is expiring in 6 months and you need to travel 3 weeks out. Then I would recommend getting the Tatkal service. It is slightly more expensive, but it's very quick. So it takes 2 to 3 days to reach the VFS and get it processed through that and reach consulate, and it takes a week to get the passport back from the consulate general. So Tatkal service is very good. It's very quick, it's slightly expensive, and here we have the reissuance of passport, which takes 21 days to process at the consulate, and the fresh passport is in case you lost it, right? Now in these two cases, for damaged passport, remember you cannot apply for Tatkal service. Even though you have to travel, you cannot apply for Tatkal service in case of damage. They will send it back. So I would recommend just put it in reissuance of passport, or go in person to the VFS Global or with all the documentation that I'm about to discuss in this video. But still the processing time will be 21 days. So just so you know, heads up. So let me walk you through the process that you need to follow for reissuance of passport, which is, let's say it's expired or it's expiring in 30 days or a month, 6 months or a year, and you want to reissue it just in case, just for being ahead of the curve. So for here we need to go back to the passport fees and documents required service page, and we scroll down. Here you can see the charges. Adult 10-year passport validity, 36 pages there at $75. VFS fee is this much, and you can add it to get the total. And we want to scroll down here. Now let's assume your passport has water damage. Now it could be even slightest of smudges that you can observe, or crinkliness in the paper, where your paper has after water damage the paper kind of crumples. So if it has any of that, I would recommend, just to be safe, go with the damaged passport checklist. If not, if you lost the passport, go with the lost passport. If not, then I would just recommend with reissuance of passport. So let's walk through this list. Right here, I would recommend getting 2 printouts of this checklist and fill in the name for, you have to send only one, right? So just fill in the name, email ID, passport number, mobile number. Keep it consistent throughout your process. If you change it, there could be issues in terms of them matching information, or it could be anything, right? So very first thing that you need to have in this is upload a photo and signature. Now the picture, the specifications of the picture are given on the first page. So if you go back, if you go somewhere here, yes, so online photograph is mandatory. Click here to know how to upload the photograph signature, right? So once you click here, this is your guidance for the picture that you need to have. Okay, now you can go to any nearby CVS or Walgreens or any store that takes a picture, and you can ask them that, hey, I want to get a picture taken for the Indian passport, and they will have their guidance and they can just click on it and you'll get the picture. But make sure they know that it is for an Indian passport. If you say for a US passport, it will give you a different specification. Okay, once you have the pictures taken, for example, I don't know if you can see my screen. Let me not show you the example. Let me just show you this. This, if you have this taken, you need to have a white background, and you can also use the online Adobe tool that you can use for, I think, 2 to 3 times for free before they start asking you for a membership. I would recommend using that to get the picture right, because you need to upload it on the application form, and you need to paste it somewhere in the future. So you need to have 2 copies of physical photos and 1 digital copy. So, and the same way, you need to have your signatures ready. You can just sign on a piece of white paper and you can click a picture with your phone. Same you can do with your own face, but I would recommend getting a plain white background, and the picture has to be where your shoulders are visible, your ears are visible, no visible smile, like you should not show teeth or something like that. So those are the rules. I think you can follow those picture rules. So you need your picture and signature, and you need to complete the online form. So very first tick mark, your online form should match the same information. Let's say you did reissuance of passport, it should match whenever you're filling it. Let me show you an example of a form. Once you go to the Passport Seva, let's say you're doing fresh reissuance, not Tatkal, fresh reissuance. You go here, you go register. La di da di da. Right? So once you register here, you'll get a login ID. Once you have a login ID, you should be able to log into the Passport Seva website, and the next step is you need to fill out reissuance of passport, and it should look something like this. Let me show you. You should have basically on the form, you should have your information with surname, last name, the given name, and you can use all that information from your passport that is about to expire. They also ask you for the place of birth, they ask you for the date of birth, they ask you for the nationality, sex, your father's name, or your legal guardian's name. And I would recommend writing the name as it is in the passport. Let's say your name that was the given name in the passport doesn't fit the current, and I had that issue. I would just put the first name of the current name. Let's say it's X Prithviraj C and then Lakhdhir C. I would just put Lakhdhir C outside because that's my father's name, and I would just put given name as Prithviraj C, and I would proceed with that. Now, when you're filling the address, I would recommend put in both the address, which is your address that was there in the passport, which is your Indian address. I hope it is current. If not, I would recommend changing the address to wherever your immediate family, your parents, your brother, your uncle, aunt, that can vouch for you. That you, whenever you come to India, you're going to be there. And this is going to be helpful in police verification. So I would recommend get the Indian address correct. If it's different, it's okay. You can put in the different address that was different from the old passport. Now they ask for information from the old passport. They ask for what type of application is it, Tatkal or regular or damaged, right? So make sure you select the right option because different option have different checklist. And I'm going to go through a normal passport and a damaged passport, right? Fill in all the details, and you have further, if you go further down, they'll ask you for passport printable address details. Now that should match with the address, Indian address that you had initially provided. Let's say it's different, just provide the new one, and the email ID and the phone number should be in India. The phone number that you give in the Indian address should be in India, and that person should have the physical phone number in India. In my case, I put my father's phone number down, and he lives in India right now, so he was able to, if they call him, he's able to pick up the phone and answer in case of police verification. And the other address details, I would put your American address. An American address, you would need at least a few documents to verify your address. It could be your electricity bill, it could be your driver's license, and so on. So and you have to put in the emergency contact details and previous passport details, and then if you had any criminal background, and there's a whole questionnaire for that. I hope you answer no for all of them, right? And once you complete the form, I would recommend uploading your image, your face picture, your signature, and any and all related documentation that you can provide. So your Aadhaar cards, front and back, with notary. You have to get it notarized. All the documents that you're uploading, I would recommend getting it notarized. You don't need to, but they might change. Maybe in future they ask you to get Aadhaar card notarized that you're uploading, right? So I would recommend getting as much documentation notarized as possible, and I would recommend following these guidelines, right? So let's go to the step number 2. This is the picture verification. So once you have completed this government form and you uploaded all the documentation that you need to provide, Aadhaar card, electricity bill, your driving license, your face picture, your signature, just tick mark this and make sure you get a printout of the application form, because you need to send the physical copy of that. I would recommend getting 2 copies, and just in the last section of that form, the place and date is basically the current date and current place that you're here. So I was in Frisco, so I would write Frisco, Texas. If you are in Houston, write Houston, Texas, right? And you need to sign on the right side at the end of the form, which is your physical sign, right? That is only possible after you get it printed. Once you have it printed, signed, make sure all the name and information is correct and then you can tick mark this. Just put a tick mark here and go to next step. Photograph, right? This is something that they are asking for. So you have it, put a tick mark here. This is current and copy. Now, what I was recommended to do was take a print out of my first and last page of the passport and get it notarized. And I was supposed to have both the copy and the original within the parcel that I'm about to send, right? Affidavit for change of appearance, that is something that you need to fill. Here you fill in your information. I, for me, Prithviraj C, son of my father's name, resident of, my American address, not the Indian address, American address, right? And holder of passport number. And this is for change in appearance and signature. So let's say, and I would like to assume that you've changed your appearance in last 10 years, right? If there's no change in appearance and you can prove it by having the same picture, go for it. If not, you have to fill this form. You have to print this form out, right? And you have to select has or has not, right? If this has not, then you select this has not, this has, then this has, and you need to attach a picture. Once you print it out, you need to stick it on it, and then you sign here and date and place, which is your American address. Okay. Oh, where did I go? Yes. So once that is done, that's the affidavit for change of appearance and signature. You need to get Annexure E. So Annexure E is something you need to fill out regardless. Annexure E, again, fill in the Prithviraj C Zala, that's my full name, residing, street, apartment, suite, city, state, date of birth, father's name, mother's name. If you have a spouse, you write their name, place and date, and signature, right? And after Annexure E is complete, you need to have a copy of valid status in USA. So this is typically your green card, your notarized valid visa. Okay, don't get a copy of an expired visa. Notarized EAD, right? Work permit, anything. All of these are valid. I would recommend getting the EAD. If you don't have an EAD, then I would recommend getting notarized copy of visa. And if you are still on student visa, I would get a notarized copy of student visa, and then just attach it with the parcel. Do not staple anything. Just remember, do not staple anything. And once that is done, I would get it notarized. So what all things did we get notarized? The passport copy, right? The visa, and we need to get a proof of address. Let's get this notarized as well, even if they don't ask, because what if they contest? Okay, just to be safe, get a driving license. If you don't have a driver's license, it's okay. Get a utility bill that is in your name. Okay, it should be gas, water, or electricity, or a valid lease. If you already completed 1 year at the university, you might have submitted income tax through college utility. If not, it's okay. These should be more than enough. Do not submit anything that is expired in any of these documentation. And I would, just to be safe, I would sign on each of these documentation that I'm sending. And in the notary, you will have it, notarized version, you will have it written that self-attested, and then signature and the date. Make sure to write that same thing on this copy, and you also need to submit the payments and couriers. Okay, now here most of your documentation should be complete by now. Now the important thing that I need to share is, if you have, let's say, damaged passport service that you're pursuing, right? Okay, if it's a damaged passport, I would recommend filling in annexure F. That's the different thing that you have to do. Okay, let's search for annexure F. Yes. So not instead of annexure, you have to submit the annexure. If it's damaged and you're submitting for damaged, you have to fill in annexure F. How do you fill in annexure F? That's something I'm going to walk you through, because that was a little bit tricky than I thought. What I want you to do is, I want you to take a empty Word document and type this whole thing out. I don't think you can copy this because it's in latex. If you can, just type the whole thing out and align it in a manner that it looks good, and fill in the information from I, son of, daughter of, wife of, Shri, whatever, right? Residing at, here, solemnly affirms. Now, after each question, you need to answer the question. The answer has to be short and precise. For example, let me open up the one that I filled. I don't think I can open it here, but I can read through the answers. So my passport, when I was applying for reissuance, it was damaged. So I had put in that it had, the answer was, my passport has water damage due to exposure to rain and wear and tear due to 10 years use. And to answer the second question, there was no FIR lodged. I don't know if you can see this. Yes. So there was no FIR lodged, and passport was damaged. No passport was damaged prior to this passport. Okay. You have to mention these things very clear and precise. And no water damage occurred during last year. Basically, no. State whether you traveled on the lost passport. So I answered, no, I did not travel. The water damage occurred during last year, November, December, and have not traveled anywhere using the damaged passport. State whether you are availed on any TR concessions, FTs, allowance, and if so, details thereof. And the answer is no, I am not. That's the very common answer. Now, to answer the question number 4, I would recommend getting a printout of your I-94. I-94 will have your length of residence data. So length of residence is any time you stayed at an address with your name on any of the document. It could be utility document or lease, right? That will define your length of residence. Let's say you were in Europe for 4 years before you came to United States. You have to mention that time period that you were staying in Europe at that address, not the address, but duration, and the stamps are on page number so and so. Okay. And for me, it was United States. I did my master's and then I visited India for 15 days, so that was a gap. So after that 15-day gap, the date when I arrived, that till present. Okay, so make sure you have that. And the question number 5, no, never had a PIA, right? I was never deported, so not applicable. And at last, you just need to write the date and signature, and signature needs to be there. Okay, so once this annexure F is done, you need to put that all into a FedEx package or anything package that you're gonna send it in, right? So make sure you collect all these documents beforehand. And the last step that I'm going to go through with you is, once your checklist is complete, okay, what you have to do is you go back to VFS Global first page, the very first page that you came in. You have to create a VFS account. If you already have an account, just log in. Okay. Once you have logged in, it will ask you to basically enter all the details that you need to fill out. So let me just put this it's trying to ask if I'm a bot. So once you are here, you need to create a new application. When you click on the create new application, you have to select the center that you want to apply for. Let's say you are in Texas, I would recommend Houston. If you're in New York, go for New York. Boston is also, New York is comfortable. Washington is also something that you can go for. Once you have selected, let's say Houston, and then you have to select the proper category, because this matters. The one that you have selected, let's say damaged, or let's say go with the fresh passport. Now here, if you have a 5-year passport page is exhausted, 5 years validity, passport page is exhausted, that could happen to some people. Passport going to expire in 5 years, passport already expired for 10 years. So this was my option. Fresh passport could have a different structure, but I don't see any big difference. The only thing is this, I would go with online payment, because all the others are hassle. I would recommend getting it paid online. If you don't have that mean, you'll have to get a banker's check or a money order, and you'll have to send it via the package, the courier. Once you continue, it'll ask you for details. Okay, here you need to add customer. Once you add customer, you fill in all these information. You go back, okay, and here you will have an option of choosing your own company to deliver the package to VFS Global. I would recommend take the one that VFS Global has, and it will come up as choose our own supplier. Once you go through that, they'll have it through a FedEx supplier, and once you complete that FedEx information, the FedEx will provide you with a tracking number. So once you're done with that, you'll go back to the page where you need to put in the details, and you put the tracking number in there, in the courier information. And once you put the tracking number in there, you will get something called application receipt, which is also something you have to mail in the complete package. So application receipt is also something that you need to remember. I forgot it almost forgot it the first time around. My friend reminded me. So application receipt is something that is going to be your last documentation that you need. And make sure you go to FedEx. You get it all neatly packaged in, and make sure you have all the documents, and make sure you have checked off everything through the checklist that is needed, right? I don't think you need to have this unless you have any of these conditions applied to you. Okay, and make sure if any of those conditions apply to you, make sure you have the information, you have the supporting documents ready, and we follow the same procedure of notarization. Take all the things, make a bundle, put it in a package, and put the shipping label. Ask the FedEx person, whoever is working there, to put the shipping label for you if you don't know how to put it, right? And make sure you send it to them, and voila, you should be getting your passport done. Just remember that application receipt, the fees for both completing the VFS Global application that you're sending, the passport application, that fees and the packaging fees, the mail fees is different. So make sure you have paid both of them. And until then, I wish you all the very best. and good luck in renewing your passport. Thank you so much. Bye bye.